Divine Ones, hi guys. It's Monday. I told you guys I was going to be back on Monday to see you guys, check on you guys, and I guess talk about whatever came to my mind that I felt like you guys would need to hear, that would be supportive and uplifting and encouraging for you guys. That's what I'm here for. That's what this channel is for. The different things that I discuss, they are my personal experiences too. I don't just talk about things that I haven't personally experienced. That's why I created this channel, because I know a lot of you have been through what I've been through, or are going through what I am going through presently, or are about to go through some of the things I've been through. So it's either a past, present, or future situation, and it all depends on the timelines that we're on. But I hope that you all are good, and if you are not in a good place, that you take the necessary steps for you to get to a much better place in your life. If your life is not quite where you want it to be, and if that is your situation, I am right with you. You are not by yourself. My life is not exactly where I want it to be, so I'm making arrangements to change that every day. I'm taking a step. I'm doing some research. I'm doing whatever I gotta do, making a move if it's time to actually make a move. Because sometimes it's not always time to make a move, but rather plan, research, learn, observe, So it's different, stages to that whole process. And mine goes back and forth, But this weekend, I had a great weekend. I saw you guys yesterday, but I hope that you had a great Saturday. And Friday too. I can't remember if I saw you guys on Friday. I don't think that I did. I think that I saw you guys Sunday, and then of course again today. But I'm wishing you all well, for those of you that are on your healing journeys. And I'm hoping that your healing journeys are going well. As I always say, that it is a back and forth thing. It is an emotional roller coaster, this healing process. But I wanted to talk to you guys today, and I really wanted to target, especially my younger crowd. If those of you that have been tuning to my channel are younger, I'm speaking on the age groups of 18 to 25, in that age range. And if you've been coming here, welcome. I thank you for coming here and lending me your ears and your time. And I'm hoping that I'm saying something that is helpful, as I was young once in that age range. It's been a while since I've been in that age range, but I was once there. And I don't wish that I was in that age range again. It's cool, if I could take the wisdom I have now back to that age range. If I could take the intelligence back in time to that age range. If I could take everything that I have now with me when I was, 18, cool. But if not, no thank you. I am proud of the woman that I've grown into, the lessons I've learned, and man, they have been harsh. So I can't imagine going back in time, because I want to relive the years of 18, 19, 20 or whatever, because I want to, go back to my youth, and then have to do all this shit all over again that I just went through. No, thank you. No, definitely not. That is not for me. And I do not wish what I've been through on my worst enemy. That's how bad it's been in some parts. So, but anyway, I digress. Not really digress, but I'm done blabbering my mouth. I just wanted to talk about how, when it comes to romantic relationships, how you know that person is for you. How you know that person is actually for you, and not against you is, they are supportive of your dreams. They encourage you to move towards your dreams, no matter how crazy they may seem, no matter how much sense, your dreams may not make to them. They are supportive and encouraging of those dreams you have and your goals that you are wanting to set or are setting. And they will even help you in whatever way that they can, to help you set those goals, do the research, just be an overall source of support. Anything that you're dealing with emotionally, they are there for you. They are always lending a shoulder. They are always lending their ears, and not just actively listening, which is just pretending to listen, but they are, well, they are actually actively listening. That's what I meant to say. Not pretend, well, I said it right. Mercury retrograde, oh my God, it always messes up communication, but they are actively listening. And, they are tuned into what it is that you have to say, and they are offering advisement. They are offering their advice to you, words of, encouragement. They are just supportive in whatever it is that you want to go in what direction you want to move in, and whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're going through, they are there, and they show up for you. They are reliable, and they don't have a problem with it. They will drop, whatever it is that they can, to be there for you and show up for you. So that is someone that is actually for you and in your corner. If you need anything, I mean anything, they are there, and they're willing to, take some extra steps to provide whatever it is that you need. Even if they don't have it, they will, they will try to get it for you, or they will work with you and try to get it with you. But they are riding with you, 100%. They're not, talking bad about you behind your back, and now we're going into what's not for you. They're not talking about you behind your back. They're not trying to ruin your reputation. They're not leaving you high and dry when you're saying that you need them, you need their support, and they're just abandoning you. They are not bringing stress and trauma, creating wounds for you on top of the wounds that you already have. They're not dramatic, they are not insulting to your character. They're not belittling to you and your character. They're not abusive to you, verbally, mentally, emotionally, and definitely not physically. But again, that is going to be someone that is not for you when it comes to relationship. Everything that you need when it comes to a relationship, they will try their best to be. But of course, they can never be 100%, because even ourselves, we can't be 100%. So again, we can't expect someone else to be 100% for us when we can't be 100% for ourselves. But they will try their best to be what they can be for you. And, like I said, they won't turn their back on you. And if there are any issues, this is again someone that is for you. They're going to present whatever issues that there are. So that way you guys can discuss whatever is going on and resolve them. Come to a peaceful and mature resolution. But it's hard to be who you need to be for someone else. This is why a lot of toxic connections don't make it, because it's hard to be who you need to be for someone else when you can't be who you need to be for yourself. So if you are connecting with someone, are connected with someone, or are trying to connect with someone who can't be who they need to be for themselves, then that is going to be most likely a connection that won't work. Because if they can't be who they need to be for you, they can't be. If they can't be who they need to be for themselves, then they can't be who they need to be for you, right? I mean, I think that's just kind of like common sense. Even if they really want to be, even if they are just pouring their heart out and telling you how much they would love to be. That is potential, and yeah, that's nice and everything, but they're just not going to be able to follow through with giving you and providing you with what you need when they can't be who they need to be for themselves. And yes, people can change, but the likely that someone will change for you when they won't change for themselves is zero. The likelihood, I'll say that again, the likelihood of someone changing for you when they won't change for themselves is zero. So I wouldn't wait for someone to change. Even if you've been married to them 20 and 30 years, I wouldn't wait for that. Even if you've been in a relationship with them for 10, 20, and 30 years, whatever the connection is, if it's a marriage or relationship and the marriage wasn't something that you guys wanted to do and you just are doing a relationship and it's ongoing, for many, many years, again, if they can't be who they need to be for you themselves, then that means they can't be who they need to be for you. I'll be glad when this retrograde is over so I can speak directly and clearly. And the thing is like, I got enough sleep last night. I slept so much this weekend because I have 3-day weekends now with my new work schedule. It's like, I was like just in, and I was like, I don't normally sleep or like to sleep too much because it's like, I know I have a lot to do. But that was my self-care this weekend. I was like, I'm going to get me some sleep. So I slept in like 11 o'clock to between 10 and 11 o'clock. If I woke up between 8 and 9, which is the normal time I usually wake up, even when I don't have to get up to do anything early, like go to work, I'm still up like at 8 or 9 in the morning. And it's like, I made a point to sleep in and rest my body, rest myself, because my body is healing from, wounds and, other things. And it's like, I was like, I'm gonna get me some sleep. So that was my self-care. I didn't indulge in any other self-care rituals this weekend. My son was like telling me to go to the park today, but I had some running around to do and some cooking to do, and it's like just time got away from me, and now it's almost 7 o'clock, so the day is gone, and I have still stuff I gotta do. But yes, it's hard for someone to change for you when they won't change for themselves. So it's, honestly, I'm going to have to say, and we are honest on this channel here. Waiting for someone to change is a waste of time. Waiting for someone to arrive when they haven't arrived for themselves and to arrive for you, yeah, it's a waste of time. Sorry to break it to you for those that are hoping and wishing that someone will change for you. Nobody is going to change for you when they are not willing to change for themselves. And the thing is, it's like, how can someone change? How can someone honestly change for themselves if they don't see what's wrong? You got somebody that has an anger issue. They don't even see that as being a problem. So how can they change when they don't see that as a problem? How can they change it? How can they repair that within themselves if they're not seeing that to be a problem? Okay? If someone has issues with cheating or lying, if they don't see that to be a problem, they've been doing that all their life, they started picking up those habits as a child, because most likely those habits, are created, early on, in whatever way and however way that came to be. But it's embedded in them deep now, and they're so used to being that way. That's just they say some of them may say, well, that's just who I am, and you're expecting them to change, and if they are accepting of that behavior, they're definitely not going to change. And again, like I said, if they don't see their issues, the point I'm making is, if they don't see their issues to be a problem, they are not going to change. Point blank, period. So waiting for them to change, again, for you would be delusional. It would be delusional, and you would be wasting your time. And also, if you are being met with, you want a relationship, and I get it, you want a relationship, and you just want somebody, you know, that you can, connect with on a deeper level, you know, someone that you can bond with, someone that you can, spend time with and engage in activities with, travel with, you know, do other things with that couples do, but you just can't seem to come across the right person. A lot of times when that is happening and you are seeing that pattern, it's not time for you to be in a relationship. It's time for you to focus on yourself and whatever it is within yourself as to why you feel like you need to be in a relationship, especially if you feel like you need to be in a relationship and you cannot be alone. And I was just talking about this yesterday when I was talking about abandonment. I think I talked about this a little bit about codependency. I can't remember. It may have been another video that I was speaking in that I didn't even post. It's hard to keep up with all the videos now. I've posted so many so far at this point. But you don't want to be alone, and you keep going into relationship after relationship after relationship. The reason why they're not working out is because you need to be by yourself, and you need to learn how to be by yourself. And once you learn how to be by yourself, then the right relationship will come along once you heal that wound, and that wound of needing to be in a relationship with someone, which is codependency. You need to heal that. That is a wound. You need to heal it. And trust me when I say that, if your heart, you truly, truly desire to be in a relationship with someone, and if it's meant for you to have a relationship in this lifetime, because, I do believe that that's not for everybody. We come here for different reasons, and we have different purposes. And that is not the sole reason why we come here. We have different things that we've come here to do. And so a relationship with another person or a connection with another person shouldn't be your sole focus. We have to focus on ourselves. We have to elevate and evolve within ourselves. And that is key. So if you're finding it difficult to have a relationship or keep a relationship with someone, that's because it's not time for that. And that is something that you may have to come to realize as well, as hard as that may be able for you to realize and understand, as hurtful as that may be for you to realize. It is just the truth. But, I just wanted to come on here and talk about, what connections when it comes to relationships and dealing with romantic partners are not healthy, Yeah, but I personally have dealt with a unhealthy connection, and I realized that, connections rather, and I realized that, that was the thing for me too. I was going from, I never was the type to go from one relationship to relationship. When I would finish up with a relationship, I had to take a break, honey, because, those relationships were tumultuous. I've had one relationship my entire life, since I started dating at the tender age of 15, that was not toxic. One. And I've had a handful of them. I would say maybe like a total of 7, including that one that I've attempted in my life. And I'm, halfway to 50. And one was not toxic, but I was so young at the time, It's like, what do you really know about love at 15, But that first relationship, it taught me a lot. It taught me, I learned in that connection how I should be treated, because, he was very respectful. It's like he basically almost worshipped the ground I walked on. I didn't have to deal with infidelity. He knew that he wanted to be with me, and, he took it very serious, even in at our young ages at that time. He took care of me. He, treated me to dinners and lunches and things, would take me and pick me up from my job, taught me started teaching me how to drive. He would advise me and just kind of keep me on the straight and narrow. He did, and again, his parents were good models too, especially his mother. He just came from a good family background. So, he just kind of set the stage for what I should have made sure that I examined when it came to guys. But somewhere, unfortunately, along the way, I started settling because I, desired love so much. And so those other 6 connections that I allowed into my life and signed up for, they were absolutely horrible. But again, I had to learn self-love, and that's what those connections were teaching me, to love myself, so that I would not accept anything beneath me, because I consider myself a woman of high standards. So, I deserve nothing but the best, because that is what I'm going to give in return, is the best, to whoever is deserving of that, right? And so, that's why it's important to love yourself and heal your wounds and know your worth, and know your value. All of this is so important, so that way you don't settle like I did, because I didn't know my value. I didn't love myself. There were so many things that I had to learn when it came to myself, that I wasn't taught. And some will say, oh, well, my parents didn't teach me that, or, I didn't learn that growing up. Okay, well, once you do grow up, it is our responsibility when we grow up to educate ourselves on what it is that we truly want to be, who we want to be as a person. Do you want to be someone of high standards, or do you want to be someone of low standards that just accepts anything? And if you're someone who is of low standards that just accepts anything, you're going to be disappointed after, one situation or one connection or one opportunity after the next. And all opportunities are not good. They're not good opportunities. So we have to be very careful and mindful in what we're choosing. But also, like I said, more importantly, we need to be careful about, how we are treating ourselves, and make a decision on who you want to be. Do you want to be someone that, establishes a good character for yourself? Someone, like I said, that won't accept bullshit, because if not, then you will be accepting the bullshit. And I was there once upon a time. So I know exactly what it looks like, when you're just accepting anything because you don't realize your true worth and your true value. And unfortunately, you're not valuing your time, so you're staying in connections longer than you should, when you are clearly saying that someone is treating you like shit, and you deciding to stay because you think they're going to change, because you think it's going to get better. And it's like, nope. If they're not seeing that what they're doing is a problem, and I've been in a relationship like that too. I'm like, oh, I think he'll change. I'll just give it some time. And then after a while, I'm glad I wised up, because I was expecting a child from that situation. It's like, nope, this person's not going to change. So I'm glad I finally wised up. But I also took other people around me to get that to go through my thick skull, because I'm was even at that time, but still am, such a good-hearted, open person. I have hope that people are gonna change and do better. And it's like, if they don't have the desire to do that, and again, if they don't see an issue with the way that they're going about their in the way that they're leading their lives, they're not going to. So I said all that to say, and that was a lot, I know. I said all that to say, depending on how you carry yourself, who you want to be. If you want to become, and don't consider yourself now, presently at this time, someone who is of, high value and will only accept the best, and are a person of high standards, and you want to get to that place. And I know what it's like to be in that place where you're not there, because I had to grow and mature into the woman that I am now, where I am a woman of high standards. I will not tolerate or accept anything beneath what I know I deserve. That's going to require you to love yourself. It's going to require you to heal whatever wounds within you that stem from childhood or not, as to why you feel like you need to tolerate less than. That is something that needs to be examined and healed, so that you can get to a much, much better place. If you are someone that doesn't care, then you will continue to live a life of disappointment. And in that case, you shouldn't complain, because, you're just going to be keeping yourself in a vicious cycle, a vicious loop that's just going to be going around and around, where you're going to be accepting the same type of people with the same type of energies, that have low standards and are in low vibrations. Just like you. You are what you attract. Another cliche saying, but holds a lot of truth. So 2622, as I'm saying that, so that would be 226, 622, or 262 for those of you that are keeping up with their angelic numbers. I'm going to leave it there though, guys. This is almost 30 minutes. It seems like most of my messages are usually close to like 30 minutes, but I try to keep them short for you short attention spanners. But you guys can always fast forward through. I try to provide, not try. This is a channel where I want to provide, I don't want to use the word good. I want to say sincere, truthful, meaningful content, right? And, provide you with messages that you can use, coming from a person who has been through what you've been through, of course, or is going through what you're going through, or is about to go through what you're going through. But, okay, guys, for those of you that want to become a much better version of yourself, and you're tired of settling for less than, because you know you deserve more, and you are worthy of more, heal. It's going to take you to heal. Do your healing work, or shadow work, for those of you that are, like to use that term better, but love yourself so that you can do your healing work and make your list, whatever it is that you need to put on your list. I'm too nice, and I let people walk all over me, and I want to help everybody in the world, and I have hope that people will change, even if the person doesn't see what they need to change, and I will do everything in my power to get them to change, and for them to become a much better person. Look, all of that energy needs to be focused on yourself, because you can't force anyone to do anything that they're not willing to. Alright, guys, so I'm going to leave it here. I hope that you guys have a great night and a great rest of your day, depending on where you are in the world. And if no one has told you today that you are amazing, that you are beautiful, that you are worthy of beautiful things, that you are deserving of beautiful things, if you believe that you are, and that you are willing to do whatever work you need to on yourself to receive these beautiful things, because they don't come just because we desire them, or because we're trying to manifest them, or because we want them, or because somebody said that we were going to get them. We have to work for these things. We have to work for the life that we truly desire. It requires work, and it requires healing. It does. Whatever is going on with you, it requires you to look at yourself and heal. I can't stress that enough. So, if no one has told you that you are amazing, that you are capable, that you are powerful, and that you are absolutely gorgeous, you are absolutely handsome, that as long as whatever it is that you want to do in your life, be it a purpose or a goal that you want to accomplish, that you know will make you successful in whatever aspects that you are needing in order to lead in a lot less difficult life that will bring you joy every day when you wake up. You can make that happen for yourself. You can. Alright, guys. Alright, so I will see you guys later in the week. You guys have a beautiful start to your week. And I will see you guys soon. Alright? Love, peace, and grace.